Pallavi Ahluwalia from Ahluwalia Law Offices. Get ready to ask any question related to immigration and naturalization or anything related to family law, corporate or civil matters. The number in the studio 972-235-5555. For appointments, you can call their front desk manager at 972-361-0606. Their website ahluwalialaw.com, or you can also log on to yourdesilawyer.com. With that, would like to welcome Pallavi on air. A very good morning to you, Pallavi. How are you?
A wonderful morning to you, Mitu. How are you doing?
Doing very fine, thank you.
Okay, we already have some calls coming in, and
yes.
I think we'll be going past the 11 o'clock break and taking more calls, but just shortly, let's just start with a few calls that are already here.
All right, good. You reminded our listeners here that you will be staying the entire next segment also, so they must hang on to their question and keep trying to reach you. Well, with that, once again, number in the studio, 972-235-5555. Let's go ahead and take our first caller. Phanisha Radio, you're live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question, please.
Oh, sorry, we wanted to request a song.
All right, let's do that later. Let's go to our next caller. Call me back. Phanisha Radio, you're live on the air. And go ahead and ask your question, please.
Yeah, hello?
Hello, go ahead and ask your question, please.
My dad is 58 years old. He's gonna two-time gonna interview, but the question answer is pass. He got a writing problem.
Yeah. So, sir, could I just request you to speak up a little bit? I cannot hear you very well, or maybe I have a poor connection, or you have a poor connection. Could you just speak up a little bit?
My dad is applied for two-time citizenship.
Okay.
His answer question is everything is fine, good, but the writing problem.
Okay, he's not being able to write.
Yeah.
Okay, and but he's been able to pass the the questions on the civics questions, and he's been able to pass the other things except for the writing.
Yeah.
So they won't give him an exception, unfortunately, unless he has been a resident here for 20 years and he's over the age of 50, or he has been a resident for 15 years and he's over the age of 55. So that's when some exceptions kick in. Now at this point, with the writing part, I think he may have to just kind of learn and do it. So if they've pointed it out a couple of times, is this something that you can probably get some assistance for, or just have him go through some classes just for the citizenship workshops? There are quite a few that cities and churches and all of those offer. Is that something that you can have him go through, because he won't get an exception for that?
Okay.
So there is another way to do that, and that may be the medical reason. But again, they're a little skeptical about the medical waiver, and they analyze it quite well. So if he's doing well on other things, then getting the medical exception on a disability to learn or anything would be harder.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Yeah, he is 50 years or 58 now.
Okay.
He gonna writing. He gonna tell them. He gonna see the writing. This the writing here. What is the name? He gonna writing. He gonna tell him. He go to today is cold. Today is sunny day. Something is spelling is, but I forget.
Right. Yeah, I can understand the issues, but I think he may just have to go through a little bit more on that part for classes before he goes back again and applies for the interview.
All right, thank you so much. And yes, do want to remind all our callers here that Pallavi will be here for the entire next segment also. So hang in there with your questions, because we have very little time. Just under a minute. Is there anything that you want to update our listeners with? A very quick one.
Well, at this point, we're awaiting the next bulletin and to see this will be the last bulletin of the financial year, and see if it brings any reprieve to any people that have been waiting to get their dates current. We're seeing a lot of RFEs that are coming in for EB3s that are now getting current, and they're asking for employer information, maintenance of status, as well as medicals. So just be prompt, return that back to them so that while the visa bulletin remains current and it doesn't retrogress, you have a chance of making it and getting your green card. So I think I'm out of time and we can come back at the top of the hour.
Yes, let's do that. Once again, this is Pallavi Ahluwalia from Ahluwalia Law Offices. To get in touch with her for appointments, you can call their front desk manager at 972-361-0606. So much for all the patience and welcome back. We will continue the legal segment, Your Business Matters, with Pallavi Ahluwalia from Ahluwalia Law Offices. And yes, once again, the number in the studio, 972-235-5555. Get ready to once again welcome Pallavi on air. Once again, how has the week been for you? I mean, it passes so fast.
Yes, it does. And it's been a busy week. Already deadlines that are imposed, some by the government, some because we have certain kind of cases that get filed at certain times of the year. So they're continuing deadlines that we have, and we're very, very happy to handle them. So, Mito, without having people wait, and I know we had some callers that have been waiting for us through the break, let's just start taking all calls.
Let's do that. Going to our next caller, Phanisha Radio. You're live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question, please. Phanisha Radio, you're live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question. I think the line is disconnected because I can hear something in the background, but okay, well, call us back. 972-235-5555. That's the number in the studio. Phanisha Radio, you're live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question, please.
Yes, my question is that my husband was working for an employer A. He got his H1 stamped and it's valid until 2017.
Okay.
And now he recently changed his employer. We got an RFC for that and the transfer is pending. In case we travel at this time to India, can we come back on our old visa that's stamped until 2017?
Yes, so the visa is can be used even if it is with an old employer, because the visa is just a travel permission in your category. Okay. Now, traveling in that and coming back is fine. Would your husband be coming back to join employer B or the first employer that has the case still done or open, the 797?
It's 797. He doesn't have any documents from the employer B. It's still pending. The transfer is pending. So he's working for employer B already.
He is working for employer B?
Yes.
And that has changed the location, because maybe that
Yes, it has changed the location.
Okay, so you may have to just carry the receipt notice. Don't need to show it at the port of entry, but if it's asked where his location is and where he's going to be, then at least there is a pending transfer of employers that is there, and that can be shown to CBP.
Okay, that sounds great. And also, I have found an employer who has just begun a processing of H1B for me.
Okay.
So can I travel and return on my previous H4, or is it mandatory for me to go for stamping?
Well, here it is. Now, if you are traveling in the interim and that you have an employer that's changing status, what I understand is you've already been part of the quota, so that part of the problem is resolved, correct? You've been part of the quota in the last 6 years, and that's the reason you're transferring now from an H4 to an H1B. So that being clear, when you transfer and you come back and you're coming back on an H4 status, basically the last action on your return will be the H4. So my suggestion is either that when you come back in, then you upgrade your application and get it under premium processing and get it approved upon your entry. And if there is any discrepancy on the I-94, then that should also get resolved at that point, at the time of the upgrade. So do an upgrade request and also put in your latest I-94 that shows your visit, so you'll have it somehow somewhat seamless in that number being the number that will be your H1B number.
Okay.
All right. But if you were to be
Thank you so much.
So if you were to be approved while you're abroad and you've already gotten an H1B, then when you come in, then the H4 will be your status. So then you'll have to amend your H1B and mark it for a change of status in the country.
Okay. All right. I'll do that. Okay, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for your call. Going to our next caller, Phanisha Radio. You are live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question.
Hi. I have a question. I wanted to file for my brother. And what supporting documents do I need? And then do I have to show the financial support evidence now or after once the visa is approved?
Right. So the financial documents after the visa is approved. For the supporting documents, you have to have a birth certificate of yours and your brother's that shows sibling relationship. So if the birth certificates are not clear, then you need additional secondary information that proves the relationship for the I-130 to get approved.
Okay. And what all support, like do I have to show the birth certificate of mine yet? So even her wife and son, he has a younger kid. So do I have to show?
So you could put those in, and those would be additional documents. So on the I-130, there would be a list of people that are his dependents or that would be coming in at the time the visa gets current in about 12, 13 years. And you can put all their birth dates and marriage certificate and all of in. That's fine. You could do that. Or you could just even list that those dates, but just make sure that you have the correct dates. I have people who after maybe 5 or 6 years of their I-130 approval come back when they're getting closer to the visa processing time at the NVC where they want to change birth dates, and then we're forced to do an A24, an action on an approved application, and change those and notify the government of the changes. So just make sure. So if you do have the marriage certificate for your brother and his children's birth certificates, those are good things to authenticate when you're putting it in the I-130.
Okay. And the other thing, do I need to keep a lawyer? I can even file myself, right?
So
Do I
it
need to
depends on-
take the documents and all the supporting things to show it to the
It's a
lawyer,
sweet question.
or what do you suggest?
Yes, it's a sweet question. You're asking a lawyer if you need me or not. All right. Yes, if you're comfortable with it, go ahead and do that. But just be aware that it is a process that can get requests for evidence as long as you have accounted for all the information on the I-130 and you have the supporting documents. You should be fine. But again, you would need lawyers only if you don't understand the process very well, and you do need that assistance.
Like I can put all the documents together and everything, then once I file it, I'll come to know, right, if they need anything.
There will be requests for evidence in a few years, yes.
All right. Thank
All
you
the best to you.
so much. All the very best to you. Going to our next caller, Phanisha Radio. You're live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question, please.
The question is that for the form I-539, the charge is $290. But if you have multiple people on the same I-539, does the charge multiply, or
No,
is
it
it still stays $290?
No, it will stay 290. It's one filing
Okay.
fee, and it can have multiple dependents on it.
Okay, so one form $290, whether there are 2 or 3 people.
Correct. That's fine.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you so much.
All the best.
Thank you for your call. Going to our next caller, Phanisha Radio. You're live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question, please.
Hi, how are you today?
Very well. How may we help?
The reason actually, I think I did call back about 3 months ago. I did bring my wife as a fiancé visa. Then I changed it to for the green card petition.
Okay.
Back in November last year, I received a letter. It says it's like an interview waiver case. But I never received any kind of green card or anything yet. It's been almost 9 months.
Okay, so just let's, I know since I do have so many calls that come in here, I may have forgotten your exact matter. But so what you're telling me is that you had applied for your wife's I-130, correct?
Uh-huh.
But she does require a waiver?
No, actually, when she came here, then I changed the status, and then back in November 2014, I got a letter. It says it's like an interview waiver case.
Okay, so they waived the interview. They waived the interview, and so you filed for an adjustment here, correct?
Yes, uh-huh.
And it has been pending for 9 months. So yeah, so your question is, how long is the I-13485, that whole adjudication process is taking? It's taking about 12 to 13 months in the country. It may be even 14 months.
Okay, so
Okay,
that's
so 9 months is not, it's not unnatural to have this wait, because that is about the time that it's taking is about 13-14 months currently.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
All the best.
Thank you so much. 972-235-5555 number in the studio. Pallavi Aluwalia with us from Aluwalia Law Offices, answering all your legal questions. To get in touch with her directly, you can call their front desk manager at 972-361-0606. Going to our next caller, Panisha Radio, you're live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question, please. Okay, call us back, 972-235-5555. Panisha Radio, you're live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question, please. Panisha Radio, you're live on the air.
Hi.
Yes.
This is Krishna. Namaste. Actually, hello?
Yes, namaste. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you. How are you?
Very well. How may we help?
Hi. My question is that I applied for the 485. I am on EAD, me and my wife.
Okay.
I applied it on last December. I'm an R1 visa, so now I'm an EAD. So how long it takes? What is the current date? I mean,
So
the
you have.
processing time asking me.
So which is your visa? Is it? Did you say R1?
Yes, ma'am.
So you have an approved I-360, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so that's been approved. So, and you're saying that you're pending since last November?
Last December I applied the 485 also.
Okay, all right. Yeah, and it's fine because it's not delayed right now. The processing time takes just on the 485. The processing time can vary between 6 to 9 months. So you should be all right still.
Because I got the EAD also.
Right. So
the
EAD, the EAD is fine. That just is an automatic thing that you'll get. It's not. It is not something that you're getting on the merit. It is just because it is a benefit for the 485 that you have gotten the EAD, and you can keep it going, and that'll allow you to stay in the country. Are you past your R1 time? So you're not maintaining your R1 anymore?
No.
Yeah. So you will be working using the EAD, and you will maintain
Yes.
that, and till you get your 485, the obligation is to maintain your status by doing what that I-360 said that you would be doing, which is to work for the religious organization.
So now it's 8 months happened, so that I'm scaring that is it okay? Is it normal the processing time is taking lengthy or what? That's all my question. So,
Yeah, the processing time is a little behind for the 485. You're right. So unless there is a request for evidence, you should be fine. It's just a processing queue.
okay. Thank you so much.
All the best.
Thank you so much. The entire message board is lit up. Going straight to our next caller, Panisha Radio, you're live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question, please.
Hi, thanks for taking my call. Both me and my wife applied for citizenship a few months ago, 2 months to be exact, and we both got fingerprinted about 5 weeks ago, and she got her notice to appear for an interview, which is on August 11th, and I have not gotten it so far. I made an appointment with the InfoPass appointment here in Irving and went and talked to them. They said the case is with the NBC.
Okay.
I just wanted to know if it is normal for somebody to be outside of the processing times if both the husband and wife apply together.
Yeah, because the interview is set up after the background check is cleared. So, and if it is that they have to do some more additional background checks, that will not allow them to set you up for an interview, because that is their requirement. They're not supposed to, after the interview, delay it, but for the naturalization oath ceremony. They cannot run background checks after the interview. So the obligation is to finish all of that when the interview is set up. So what I'm pleasantly surprised by is the news that your wife was set up within about 2-3 months of her application, which is not the norm. It does take about 5 to 6 months by current processing time to get that interview. So, so I think it's hers that is a little bit faster as opposed to yours being tardy.
So our dilemma is, should she go ahead and appear for the interview?
Absolutely. Yes, it's not
or
related.
is it, does she have to get it postponed until wait for my papers to show up, or no?
These are individual applications. They're not dependent on each other.
Okay.
And she must not reschedule, because that would just put her out in another queue, and sometimes there is a tendency to overlook the application that has been reset.
Okay.
So tell her to follow all timelines that she's being given and show up for interview.
Okay, thank you very much.
All the best.
Thank you very much. And if you want to get in touch with Pallavi beyond the radio show, you can call their front desk manager at 972-361-0606. Going to our next caller, Phanisha Radio. You're live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question, please.
Hi, thank you for taking my call. I have a question that I lost my Indian passport recently when I was trying to send it for the passport renewal to the Indian Embassy in Houston.
Oh, wow.
So my question is, it has my most recent H-1B visa stamped, but it is due to expire in the month of September 2015. And my extension has been already filed with USCIS.
Okay.
So my question is that if, so the embassy is going to issue me a new passport.
Okay.
So I'm just concerned that will there be an issue because my extension was filed and in that extension it was my old passport number.
Yeah, so now that, when was the passport expiring? Are there any issues there? Do you know when the passport was expiring?
No, the passport was expiring in 2016.
Okay. So sometimes it's possible for USCIS to look at the expiration of the passport day and to temper the approval to that day. Okay, it is quite possible that they do that if they see an expiration. So now when you're giving it for a renewal, you're going to get a fresh 10 years, correct?
Correct.
All right. So yeah, and unfortunately, without having an RFE that's issued in this case, you cannot update anything with the government, right? The only thing that you may be able to do later on, if you have to, would be an amendment, and by an amendment, you can add in more information. So the fact that the visa is getting over right now, but you have an extension in place, nothing would affect you adversely. You should be all right, and the visa would be approved. My only concern would be for the validity period that you get on your H-1B, and if it gets matched to the ending date of your passport. If that were to happen, then amend it and see if you can tell the government at that point that you need a longer time, and that's because of the passport issues.
Okay, but the problem that I'm kind of thinking is that my I-9, so my most recent I-94 and everything, that also has my last passport number.
Yeah.
So how would I get that changed? I mean, when I need to, like, you mean to say that once I get the extension approved, I need to file an amendment again, right?
Right. So just to update the passport, if you have a shorter time. But if you don't and you get your full 3 years or whatever is due to you, then you should be all right and not to worry about that. When you re-enter the country at any point, when you go for visa stamping, to the port of entry, you would record that you have a new passport and you will show them the approval notice as well. Okay.
Okay, so let's say if I get 3 years and then I'm good. I don't have to amend my I-94 because...
I don't need to. It's not an amendment of your I-94, it is just the amendment of your passport information. Right? The I-94 is generated with your entry, and you will have a record of it on cbp.gov. Okay, so if you were to go there, you can pull up your I-94 information and get the record so far, because what they don't do is match it to the new passport. So when you come in, you'll always keep a copy of that old record under the old passport and also hang on to the new record that gets generated because of the new passport.
Oh, okay, but I will also get an I-94 with my extension approval, right?
Correct, you will.
Okay, so in that, I don't have to amend the new passport number if I don't go out of the country?
No, if you are getting it for the full validity, then I don't advise doing it. It will get recorded at the time that you step out of the country and re-enter, and that would be at the CBP level.
Oh, okay, got it. Thank you. Appreciate your help.
All the best.
All right, thank you so much. Going to our next caller, Fun Asia Radio. You're live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question.
Yeah.
Can you please turn off your radio before you ask your question?
Yes, thank you for taking my call.
Absolutely.
I have two questions. The first question is, I heard if the employer A withdraws the labor on approved I-140, and if I move to the employer B, new employer, and then is it priority date will be carry over?
Yes. So the priority date of an approved I-140 will belong to you. However, for you to be able to use the I-140 for a 3-year H1B and to use it under AC21 for transferring, if that I-140 is withdrawn, then you don't have that option, right? So the point here that I'm trying to make is that the priority date belongs to you, but not just the I-140. The I-140, if it is to be used for an extension of your non-immigrant status, then it has to be used while it's open and not withdrawn.
Oh, okay. Yeah, actually, I mean, earlier it was, I heard that earlier it was not like that. Actually, earlier it was, the labor was approved. Even if you change employer, the previous employer is even withdrawn, but still we can put the date.
Yeah, that is what I said. You can put the date. The date is not the issue. That date belongs to you. Okay? The porting of the date is not the issue. The use of the I-140 for 3-year extension is an issue if that I-140 gets withdrawn.
Oh, okay. But the date, porting date won't be an issue.
The porting of the date is not an issue, sir.
All right. Thank you so much for your call. Moving on, once again, this is Your Business Matters with Pallavi Ahluwalia from Ahluwalia Law Offices. To get in touch with Pallavi, you can call their front desk manager at 972-361-0606. Number in the studio, 972-235-5555. Going to our next caller, Phanisha Radio, you're live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question, please.
Hi, good morning. Thanks for taking the call. So, quick question. Me and my wife got a green card in 2013. So, my question is, how long should we wait before we apply for the U.S. citizenship?
4 years, 9 months from the time that you got your green card, so sometime in 2018.
Okay. Should I approach an attorney for applying, or can I do it on my own?
Oh, well, it depends on how comfortable you are with the entire process. Having an attorney on your side only ensures that you understand all the things that are required, not only in terms of the processing, but the eligibility levels.
Okay, perfect. Thanks so much.
All the best.
Thank you so much. Going to the next caller, Fun Asia Radio, you're live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question, please. Can you please turn off your radio before you ask your question?
Hey, my question is, my firm is approved, but my I-140 is not applied yet.
Okay.
My H1 will be due for extension next March. So my question is it possible to extend the H1 post the 6th year? I'm already in my 8th year, based on firm approved, but I-140 pending for a month or two.
Yeah, so you would be able to use it for 3 years only if the I-140 is approved. To use, and you would not even qualify for the 365-day exception and get 1 year if you just have the PERM approved. So the PERM will not give you the same benefit as the I-140 approval. So basically what I'm trying to tell
So
you
if
is...
the I-150 is applied and it's pending, can it be used for 1 year?
No, because the PERM has to be pending.
Okay, so it's basically PERM pending 365 days or I-140 approved.
Correct. So you'll have to
those are the
premium
only two
process
cases
your...
with 1 year or 3 years extension possibility.
Right, so premium process the I-140 if you need it for an extension.
All right. Thank you so much. You were the last caller, the lucky one indeed. And for the rest of you, you need to really wait for the next segment that she will do with you all. That's next Wednesday. Thank you so much, Pallavi, for finding time for our listeners.
Of course. I look forward to coming back next week with Your Business Matters, Wednesday mornings, and look forward to talking to everybody again and to be able to answer their questions.
Until then,